my king on the side like they only want. They be watching my king on their ass like they let him know. Sitting high above, I've been under all time. When I still wasn't down, those are funny times. When I had much to give, those were precious times. But now I'm stealing from the same purpose. Running, I'm going. Running, I'm going.
teardrops.
For fun, force feed our fear until our hearts go numb. Addicted to a lonely kind of love. What I wanna know is how we got this stressed out, paranoid. Everything is going dark. Nothing makes me sadder than my head. I'm running out of teardrops. Let it hurt till it stops. I can't keep my grip. I'm slipping away from me. Oh God, everything is so fucked, but I can't feel a thing. The emptiness is heavier than you think. I'm tripping on the edge, high as a kite. I'm never coming down. And if you hear me, guess you know how it feels to be alone. That's how we get this stressed out, paranoid. Everything is going dark. Nothing makes me sadder than my head. I'm running out of teardrops. Let it hurt till it stops. I can't keep my grip. I'm slipping away from me. Oh God, everything is so fucked, but I can't feel a thing. The emptiness is heavier than you think. Suicidal, violent, tragic state of mind. Lost my halo, now I'm my own antichrist. Suicidal, violent, tragic state of mind. Lost my halo, now I'm my own antichrist. Running out of teardrops, let it hurt till it stops. I can't keep my grip, I'm slipping away from me. Oh God, everything is so fucked, but I can't feel a thing. It's racing day, so loud out here I can't hear a thing. Man, the fans are going wild. And these drivers came to rock, and no place else but Fox knows how to do it NASCAR style. Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys! Hey, now, here we go, race day. Don't you be going slow. Keep that pedal down on the floor. Push it to the crowd, can't take no more than that. Since the flag came down the air to the last lap around. When all week it's time to play, gonna get a little bit sideways. Since the flag came down the air to the last lap around. When all week it's time to play, gonna get a little bit sideways.
Welcome everybody here to WORC TV for the round of 9 elimination race here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, one of America's most historic short tracks in the country here for the JB Designs Truck Series. My name is Braison Collins and qualifying is just concluded, so we're going to pull up the starting grid for tonight. So starting on the pole for today is going to be playoff driver Joe Burgy. He had a rough one last week at Talladega, and he's going to need a big race tonight in order to get something done. I expect to see that 83 be really aggressive here early on because he is pretty much close to a must-win situation, 13 points out of the playoffs. To his outside is Blake Kennedy, who also needed a good run tonight, good qualification round, and he got it there in 19.0 to put him P2. Blake needed to beat Paul Granata by about 3 positions. If they tied, Blake holds the tiebreaker, so that is crucial to know. Christian Visconti P3. He had a good run last week at Talladega, ended up with a podium there as well. So that 80 truck looking strong here the past couple weeks to put us to the tail end of the season. Then we have Chris Brown, last week's winner, P4. Garrett A. White, another playoff driver who needs a good day, P5. Gino Mero, P6. Clayton Ramstead, P7. Brady Cox, P8. And then rest of the field, Jay Mulder 9th, Aaron Giffen 10th, Paul Granata 11th. He's going to need to have a good day. He struggled in qualifying. And then John Mulder 12th, Chase Marsden, he's 17 points out. He needs to pretty much win here tonight from P13. Timmy Spatz 14th, and Henry Klappert will round out the field here, as this is the smallest field we've had all season. And real quick, I will direct you guys to our playoff standings. As you see on your screen, Gino Mero, Clayton Ramstead, and Christian Visconti are all tied for the points lead. Paul Granata is about 4 points back on those guys. And then Blake Kennedy is 3 points out. Jay Mulder is 7 out. Garrett A. White is 11 out. So White, he's kind of like the last guy who can really point themselves in without a win. He's right there on that border. Joe Burgy, I think he's just a little too far off that border. He's going to need to win here and hope for some luck on his side. And Chase Marsden, he is definitely a must-win situation. He has to win this race and hope that Paul Granata, Blake Kennedy, Jay Mulder, he just has to hope those guys finish towards the back. I mean, he's really praying today. A rough night, or a rough, yeah, I guess it was a rough night at Talladega last week. As we'll begin pacing here with Burgy and Kennedy leading us to the green, and looks like we had all 15 trucks screwed back to Klappert, so. This is going to be exciting, a little bit of short track racing to find out who will be our final 4 heading into Viva Las Vegas next weekend. Las Vegas, one of my favorite tracks on the sim, and with pace car lights out, we'll figure out which of these guys is going to book their ticket to fight for a championship there. As, man, Nashville Fairgrounds, one of America's most popular short tracks across the country. A lot of people know this track. If you're familiar with short track racing, you know the All-American 400, one of the biggest late model races every single year. And that's something that we can look forward to here at Nashville. Some good short track racing. These trucks, they're a little tight here and they're a little loose at the same time. Nobody's really driven this track before in anything, so I think this is going to be a big wild card, just like Knoxville, just like Lime Rock, some of those tracks we've had later in the season. This is definitely a wild card track for these guys as the pace car pulls off, coming through 3 and 4. Joe Burgy, Blake Kennedy will take us to the green. Two guys who need big days here, and we are off. Green flag here at Nashville for 100 laps. Joe Burgy's going to lead into turn 1 as Blake Kennedy goes a little too high through the corner. Side by side for P3, Christian Visconti and Chris Brown as the top 2 single file out, and they're side by side here for P3 as, oh, we got a spinner, Jay Mulder, playoff driver, contact from Aaron Giffen. Oh, I do not know how much that's going to hurt Jay Mulder. And honestly, I don't really know how that was much of a yellow. Everyone saved it there. So I don't know if I'd really call that on anybody, but we'll pull up the WORC replay and take a look and see what happened with Jay Mulder right there, defending champion of the series as well. So for him to get wrecked like that is going to be huge. So here they were down the back straightaway, and looks like Jay just got loose on his own. And unfortunately, Aaron Giffen, he really had nowhere to go, and it was very light contact. So man, that's tough. I don't know if that really should have been a yellow, but it was unfortunately, and that was all Jay as well. And we'll pull off the WORC replay here where he's getting some repairs, and he just missed his pit box. So Jay not having a very good start to today's race. As I'll pull up the playoff graphic real quick here. Jay was 7 points out of this race, so or out of the final 4, excuse me. So that's huge. Aaron Giffen, he doesn't look like he has too much damage. He definitely has some front end damage to that thing, and I'm not sure how good that 29 is going to do, but so Joe Burgy and Blake Kennedy right there from the beginning, they took the top 2 and pulled away, single filed themselves out, and they both look quick here. Visconti was side by side with Chris Brown, and I don't know if he had him quite cleared or not, but some shuffling through the field. Garrett A. White, Gino Mero. As they stand right now, your final 4 would be Visconti, Mero, Kennedy, and Clayton Ramstead. So Ramstead, he's back here in looks like P8 maybe, or maybe 7th, I'm not sure, but that 20, he's going to have a good day. Paul Granata, man, he's back here in 9th. He is also going to need to have a good day here. Chase Marsden, John Mulder, Timmy Spatz, Aaron Giffen looks like he's going to rejoin the field. He's got a little bit of front end damage. I don't believe that'll hurt him too much. And then Jay Mulder is coming off of pit road now. Looks like Henry Klappert's back here towards the tail end as well. So as pace car lights are out, we will have a single file restart here per WORC rules, and that'll help some of those guys who are on the inside line. And if you're looking for a playoff driver, you got to look for the blue banner on the windshield there and the blue spoiler as well. Most of these guys have it. I believe Garrett White is the only one who doesn't. As Joe Burgy gets a good jump here, and we are green as single file through the field. Everyone coming and wrapping around turns 3 and 4, and John Mulder is in the wall right in front of Timmy Spatz. That 023 struggling here a little bit early on, but back up front, Joe Burgy is pulled away, and he knows he needs to win this race, and he is up there leading this thing. Blake Kennedy 2nd. He knew he needed to have a good day as well. Christian Visconti having himself a good day as well, P3, but he's got Chris Brown, last week's winner, all over his rear bumper here. Garrett A. White rounding out the top 5. Mero 6th. Ramstead 7th, but he's under fire from Brady Cox in the 76. Cox is going to dive it down to his inside here, and when the 76 might give up this position to Ramstead. Ramstead's fighting back. Mero gets loose in front of the field, and I'm not sure if Mero is trying to battle for position there or what, but Cox is still battling with Ramstead, and they almost make contact. Cox gets a little tight off the corner exit, and he will lose that position to Ramstead, and now he slots himself in front of Granata. As back up front, everyone just kind of single filed out right now. Everyone's just trying to figure out where they can fit in here early on, and caution is out. Looks like Aaron Giffen is around here in the 29. So we'll pull up the WORC replay and see what happens there. These guys just cannot get going early today. We'll find out what happens here. As taking a look at the WORC replay. Oh, Jay Mulder gets into the left rear of Aaron Giffen, turns him around. And that's going to be a 2 out of 3 on that 51. I'm going to take one quick look at it again. Make sure that wasn't like netcode or anything like that, but I am pretty much sure that this was the 51 getting tight up into the 29, as we see here from our far chase camera. Oh yeah, Jake makes a very slight contact with the 29, just gets him loose down the straightaway, and unfortunately the 29 couldn't save it in time, overcorrected it a little bit, and man, Jay Mulder not having a very good race today. Got loose on his own through 3 and 4, and gets into the left rear of Aaron Giffen right there. And it's where that little bit of contact can really turn somebody around. And obviously it got Aaron a little bit lopsided there, and flung him back as he tried to correct it there on the straightaway. And honestly, I was running some practice laps at this track earlier today, just trying to see what I can figure out about this track, see what I'm gonna have to talk about, because I've never really raced here myself. And I found that this track, if you get loose on the straightaway, and it's a little hard to correct it. As you see, Jay Mulder, he will get the 2 out of 3 here in that 51. Defending champ just not having a good day today. As Aaron Giffen, he's had a rough day as well. He's hit quite a few things, and him and that 51 have pretty much been every wreck so far. So Burgy still leads here, Kennedy second. Christian Visconti, he probably didn't want that caution because the inside line just doesn't fare too well here on the restarts unless you're the leader. And obviously I think Visconti, he wanted to fight off that one and hold that position for now. And that 80 is really just looking to stay out of trouble here. I mean, he's 7 points to the good on Paul Granata, or excuse me, on Blake Kennedy, and Blake is only 1 position in front of him. So, I mean, as long as Visconti can stay in front of Gino Mero, Clayton Ramstead like he is now, if he can stay within reasonable position of those guys, they'll be fine. As anyways, my apologies there, we were still on the replay. As we're back live here, Chris Brown chases it way up the racetrack there, but Visconti gets tight. He's going to clear Chris Brown anyways, and now Brown is under fire from Garrett A. White as that 26 truck is fighting here for position, and Clayton Ramstead is he takes a dive to the inside here. So does Paul Granata as Ramstead makes contact with Cox. He's going to go around. Paul Granata's around.
The yellow flag is out.
Chase Marsden is in it. Klappert, Mulder. Oh my goodness. Granata might have minimal damage here, but these playoff drivers, oh my goodness, there's a lot of chaos going on here, as these guys just cannot get green flag. Give us 1 moment here. Alright, my apologies folks. We're going to take a look here at the WORC replay, see what happened with Ramstead, as we're going to try to go to that far chase camera. Looks like he just comes up on Brady Cox. And then yeah, they just wreck after the line, several trucks. Man. I have no idea what's going on with these playoff guys. They're just struggling here at Nashville. And Clayton was a guy who, he was pretty good in the points. So obviously he's trying to make sure he finishes this thing with a fairly clean truck. And right now, yeah, him and Paul Granata as well. Granata, he's only 3 points to the good. And I mentioned this earlier, Blake Kennedy getting second was bad news for Granata. Looks like Henry Klappert got quite a bit of damage as well in that 34, just had nowhere to go. Giffen, he's had quite a bit of damage from this one. And John Mulder, he's on pit road. He got a lot of damage from that. Gino Mero looks fairly clean. Chase Marsden, he got clipped in that incident. But he actually looks fairly clean as well in that 23. And I mean, yeah, he's got some rear end damage, looks like, to the left rear, but other than that, that 23 is pretty clean. So he should be fine. He doesn't have the amount of damage that the 20 has, that the 04 even. Honestly, Granata, his front end looks pretty clean for what he hit. So I'm a bit impressed with that 04 right now. But man, the 20 and the 34, they really got the brunt of that damage, and I think the 34 got sandwiched into the wall. So Klappert had nowhere to go. As pace car lights are out, and we're going to try this one again. It's Burgy and Kennedy on the front row. This time, Garrett A. White and Chris Brown swap positions. Green flag is
Green
out.
flag,
Joe
green
Burgy
flag.
gets on the loud pedal here, and he has gone. What a great restart for him. Blake Kennedy does not get that good of a restart here in that 75, and that's going to hold up his teammate Christian Visconti, who might lose some position here, as the 80 will lose that position. Oh, that P3 and Gino Mero gets turned.
Yellow
Out into the
flag is
outside wall
out.
goes Mero. Klappert's around. Giffin's around. Ramstead plows him. We will be right back here on WORC TV.
Mad.
Alright guys,
Yeah, I told you
I'm
he's
back
mad.
here on the WORC TV replay here, and my apologies there, looks like voice chat got unmuted. We're going to take a look at that wreck real quick, see what happened. I think Chris Brown just got into Gino Mero, and that may be what sent that 71 around, so we'll take a look here. Ooh, that one's tight. We're going to have to take another look at this one here from the far chase camera and see what is happening here. So here we are, far chase camera. Man, it looks like Mero comes off the wall. And yeah, he just kind of gets stuck there on the wall. So every caution so far has really been caused by a playoff driver. I'm going to go back one last quick look here at that Gino Mero incident. Let's see here. I believe he just comes off the wall onto Chris Brown. Yeah, he just kind of comes down on him, doesn't keep it up there. I don't think he expected Brown to turn into the corner like that. I'm honestly not really 100% sure, but all I know is 71 kind of came down right there. And man, these guys up here in this top four, they want to get racing, especially Garrett A. White. He knows he has to try to win this race. That's one of the crucial things. Man, well right now, the guys who are staying out of trouble are the guys in the good, and if you're Clayton Ramstead, you're 3 laps down. This is a big issue for you, Gino Mero. These guys were top of the board's points leaders here, and now they're tail end of the field, which is absolutely crazy here. Man, right now, Garrett A. White, P3, he's close to being in here. Actually, I believe right now Paul Granata is the 4th car in. I believe it's currently Kennedy, Visconti, Burgy, and Granata, I want to say. It's either Burgy, I believe Burgy's in, because if you win this race, that's 5 points, kind of like a barrier. So Joe Burgy may be in the final 4 here with Kennedy, Visconti, and Granata. I believe that is the case at the moment, and that is absolutely huge for this race. As coming off the final corner, Burgy gets a good restart there. Blake Kennedy does not really get going, and that's 75 as they all send it into turn 1. And there's a little bit of a gap here back to Chase Marsden. I don't know if he just didn't get going or what, but that's crucial here because him and Granata, 2 playoff drivers, and Jay Mulder as well, another playoff driver. These guys are all trying to fight their way forward. Looks like Gino Mero goes to the inside of Henry Klappert, and looks like Klappert tries to get him back here, but Clayton Ramstead is 6 laps down on pit road. I think that 20 is done. And that would be unfortunate for the 20 of Ramstead if he's done. I mean, that was... it was sort of self-inflicted, I guess, him coming up on the 76, but man, that was tight. It was right here, Christian Visconti, P4. I mean, he was tied for the points lead coming into this. He's pretty much the points leader coming into this, I should say. And he's P4 right now. The other 2 guys have had a lot of trouble. That 80 is very thankful he's staying out of trouble right here, and I honestly don't think that he's going to push it too much. He might end up letting Chris by here. If Brown gets to him here, I think that one is going to be able to get by. As Brady Cox having himself a good run in that 76. He's got a little bit of damage from the incident with Ramstead, but he's up into P6. Marsden P7, unfortunately, probably still not good enough to make it in, but Paul Granata as well, P8. Just some early race struggles here from these guys. Jay Mulder, 10th. 2 yellows here as he dives to the inside of Timmy Spatz. He's trying to get around him here. And then America-themed 54. As Mulder dives back to the inside of Spatz. Looks like Spatz runs it way wide. And Mulder will clear Timmy Spatz here for position. And now Paul Granata, he's going after Chase Marsden here, trying to attack him for P7 as every point matters, especially for these two. And I don't expect Marsden to just let Granata have this. I expect Marsden to fight really hard for this one. As they wind their way through turns 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, Granata in line with Marsden. Man, Granata, he loses so much ground right there. I don't think he's got it. And another guy to look at, Gino Mero, he's moving himself through the field here. He sends it really deep into 1 and 2. Not sure how that's going to work for him here, but he's actually going to get a good exit off, and his teammate just hit the wall in front of him. And Gino Mero now, he's trying to get by Timmy Spatz. As Clayton Ramstead is still on pit road, several laps down. I think that 20 is done. As, oh no, he's back out on track. Okay, never mind. So the 20 is back out on track, but he's 12 laps down, so he's hoping for some guys to wreck out of this one. But right now, looking fairly clean through the field. They've gotten their act together here. And, oh, Chase Marsden, as I say that, he gets loose. Fishtails it coming off of 3 and 4, gets into the wall, and now Paul Granata goes to his inside. Granata will complete the pass, and we'll see what happens with Marsden here down the back straightaway. As Jay Mulder now, he's trying to get by both of these guys. He needs the points more than these guys do. Well, I guess Marsden needs, everyone kind of needs the points as the same, I guess. But, man, three truck battle here for all playoff drivers. And Gino Mero, he's right behind them here. As he watches Timmy Spatz go way up to the wall as Mulder goes to the inside of Marsden. He will clear Marsden here coming off the corner. And looks like up here Brady Cox is getting by the lap traffic of Clayton Ramstead, as Ramstead just trying to stay on track, and he's hoping for some retirements here. He's hoping maybe this 34 with all that front end damage retires, maybe Giffen. And he's hoping that some of these guys who struggled early on are going to face these issues here. As Jay Mulder, he might be able to take advantage of that. Paul Granata got stuck on the way inside of Ramstead here, and from what I've learned about this track, you don't want to run the very bottom. You want to run right there in between those 2 dotted lines up there, and then you want to kind of arc your corner off exit just like Jay did right there. Get to that yellow line and get off the corner. And back up front, Blake Kennedy can still see Joe Burgy, but Garrett White, another guy who is in a close to must-win situation, he's right on over Blake Kennedy's rear bumper right here as the 26 tries to figure out a way to be patient, get by the 75, as Garrett White's trying to formulate himself a Final Four appearance here in the JB Designs Truck Series, as Kennedy and White might go at it here for a moment. As White, he just exits the corner a lot higher than Blake, and I'm not sure if Blake is just being very restrictive right now, maybe trying to back off, save his tires, not keep the track as wide open as it is or what, but Garrett White right there, he gets loose, so that might also be another issue there, because White, he scrapes the wall a little bit there and he loses a 10th or 2, as these guys are all chasing down Joe Burgy right now, who's put himself in the best possible position that he can, as he's put himself P1, he got the pole, he's got that pole bonus point, and right now he's led every single lap in this one, all 42. So once Burgy, if he can lead the next 9-10 laps, never mind, there's a caution on the racetrack. Henry Klappert is off the racetrack. I'm not 100% sure. It might have been Chase Marsden and Henry, or I believe it was Henry Klappert. We're gonna take a look here. He's just, I'm not sure if this was the cause of the yellow or not. He looks like he's driving fine. Oh, there it is. He Alta Ford, so I don't think that should have been really a yellow, just kind of like the Jay Mulder slide. But anyways, we're back live here. Looks like Joe Burgy stays out. Oh my goodness. Burgy stayed out an extra lap. Blake Kennedy came in. Kennedy came in, White came in, Visconti came in, Mulder came in. Looks like Chris Brown stayed out too. And Burgy is going to come down pit road a lap after these guys, and that might be huge here as Chris Brown stays out. So Joe's going to lose a lot of track position here. He needed to win this race. I'm not sure if Joe perhaps got focused on what. I don't know, man. I am a little confused by Burgy's strategy here. I mean, you're the fastest truck in the field. I'd pit with everyone else. I wouldn't have stayed out right there. I don't think leading that extra lap is worth it when you're in a must-win situation. I'm a little confused about that. Chris Brown, he comes in now. So Blake Kennedy is going to be the leader here, and I mean, that's huge for Kennedy because, well, it's huge for Kennedy and Garrett A. White, actually, that truck behind him, because Garrett A. White, he's going to be P2 here. He's in a pretty much must-win situation. He has to gain a lot of points. And this is huge for Blake because, take a look at P5. That's Paul Granata in the 04. Blake is only 3 points behind Paul entering this race. And if Paul's P5, well, Jay Mulder's P4, I mean, you've got some interesting figures up here. Joe Burgy, man, he's way back here now, P9. He's in the field. I don't know how that 83 is going to fare. And Blake Kennedy, man, that's 75. Him, the 26 are granted a good opportunity here, but the big thing is if Paul's 5th, that's 75. He wants to win and ensure that he is into the next round. And suddenly now he's going to be fighting a lot harder to get in because, I don't know, man. There's a lot of ups and downs. I mean, Clayton Ramstead, he's 11 laps down. Henry Klappert's on pit road, so I mean, Ramstead might get that position of Klappert, and that would be huge for Ramstead to get that position because that would put him P13, and he's going to need to try to make sure he gains as many positions as possible here. He needs more wrecked trucks, but coming off a 3 and 4 here, good restart by Blake Kennedy as he gets on the loud pedal here, and off and away we go. Blake Kennedy is the new leader here. Garrett A. White P2, Visconti P3. Jay Mulder, he's trying to hang on to P4 here as he's trying to gain some position as well. And Mulder is a huge one here to look at. He may be able to point himself into the final 4 simply based on the issues of Ramstead. And oh! I can't tell who's around back there. Is that John Mulder? No. Clayton, Chase. Oh, it's Chase Marsden. My goodness. This has been a rough one for these guys. Short track racing, I guess. I don't know. We'll take a look here at the WORC replay. And it looks like Marsden just kind of did it to himself there. Good job on his part to lock it down and not take much damage. But yeah, it looks like he just tried to send it in on Granata and just couldn't complete it. So that's tough for Marsden. Well, we're about halfway through this thing, so let's get a mid-race update. Vidal has to go 6 cautions. This is the most cautions we've had all season in a WORC race. 22 caution laps, 2 lead changes all race. Burgy led the first 45-ish. Kennedy has led the last 5-ish. So, looks like Clayton Ramstead gets a lap back, and that's huge for him because, I mean, Henry Klappert is back out on track, so Clayton is going to need to hope Klappert gets put back on pit road. He's going to have to hope a guy like Merrow gets put on pit road. Clayton and Ramstead is praying right now for some good luck. I mean, I think if Garrett A. White gets turned around up here, I mean, but then you got to look at Jay Mulder too, and you got to look at Paul Granata. I mean, this is one of the most interesting playoff scenarios that I've seen in a while. I mean, looking into this, it almost looked like, well, some of those guys further back, it almost looked like it was just between Kennedy and Granata for that final spot. But then we have Garrett A. White up here, P2. He's fighting for that win. Clayton Ramstead, he has issues early on. Gino Mero has issues as well. Mero and Ramstead to the back. I mean, Blake Kennedy, he's up here. He's been top 2 the entire race. I mean, he's leading some laps right now, so he's getting those bonus points for leading. Christian Visconti, he's been P3. He's been quiet. He's just been consistent, holding his own up there in that black and red 80. Jay Mulder, he caused the first 2 yellows we had this race. He's got front end damage. He's driven himself up to P4. Looks like Brady Cox is up into the top 5. A good run for him here. Paul Granata, P6. He got wrecked early on, and he didn't qualify very well. Granata, this is the highest he's been all race. Is up here towards his top 5. I mean, there's a lot of big questions going on right now, and the biggest question I have is Joe Burgy, must-win situation, doesn't pit with the field. He stays out an extra lap to lead that extra lap, try to get most laps led, and I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, Joe, you can't do that. You've got to win this race, dude. Like, if you're leading this race, Joe Burgy was arguably the fastest truck on track, and now that this has happened, I mean, who knows what'll go on. But the good news for guys like Christian Visconti, who are starting on the inside, even a good thing for a guy like Jay Mulder, P4, we're single file. These guys don't really have much attacking room. And that's kind of bad news for Granata because he's trying to etch out as many positions as he can. And that's bad news for Burgy because he kind of made a little mistake there pitting too late. As Blake Kennedy, off and away he goes off of the exit of 3 and 4 there. As they go into 1 and 2, Jay Mulder, he runs a little bit lower line than Brady Cox. And now Granata is trying to go to the inside of Cox here as they go down the back straightaway. And man, Paul Granata, he might actually lose a position here. Joe Burgy has gotten to the inside of Granata here. As they go down the front straightaway, side by side, Burgy and Granata. The fight for a playoff position is on, and Granata, he might lose this position here. Burgy, he's going to get a good exit off. He'll clear Granata. What a move by the 83, as Aaron Giffen gets loose back there in the 29. Good save by him. And Chris Brown, who was up in the top 5. That decision to stay out long was really interesting as well. As up front, looks like Blake Kennedy is in control of this thing at the moment here. As Christian Visconti, he's under pressure right now from Jay Mulder, and if I'm that 80, I've seen the trouble these guys have gotten in. And honestly, I'm the points leader right now. The other 2 guys I was tied with, they're back there outside of the top 10. Like, I'm just going to back off. I know I'm ahead of those 2 guys. I'm the points leader right now. I'm going to back off, let Jay Mulder do his thing, get by me. I'm not too worried about it right now. As long as I stay in this top 4, I'm good. And honestly, even if I'm Visconti, to be in the top 5 would be good as well because he had enough points on Garrett A. White that I don't think it would matter too much. And Joe Burgy, man, he's climbed himself back into the top 5 after that little pit strategy mistake. And Paul Granata, P7, he is struggling here in the 04. I mean, he doesn't have too much damage, and honestly, he has hardly anything on that front end. He looks fine. He's just struggling here to grasp the track here. As back here, they're pretty separated. Gino Mero, he's under a little bit of fire from Henry Klappert back here, and that's not even really for position, as Klappert fighting really hard with Mero. And up front, Garrett A. White has caught Blake Kennedy. Not sure if Kennedy made a mistake or if White just figured something out. But right now, Blake Kennedy, he leads, and he's got a little bit of pressure from Garrett A. White here. As White, if he leads some laps here and gets this win, that's crucial for him as well. As I mentioned, to win this race, you get 5 more points than P2. It's you pretty much go down in increments of 1 from second all the way back through the field. But to win this race, you get an extra 5 points. So that's huge for these guys. That's why I mentioned it's so crucial for Kennedy to win this race, because he guarantees himself in the final 4 no matter what if he wins this race. There's no way that Kennedy's out of it. So he was only 3 points out to begin with. He wins this race, he gains 5 points on Granata no matter what, even if Granata gets second. And Blake is guaranteed in. And Blake only needed to gain 3 points in on Granata, because the big thing here is that Kennedy he holds the tiebreaker on Paul Granata. Paul Granata only has 6 top 10s this season, whereas Kennedy has 8. However, the issue with Kennedy is he just does not seem like he's getting good exits off as he's trying to hold on to this lead here on Garrett A. White. White is looking strong here. He runs a higher line. Blake trying to figure out when he can clear him and when he can't. And Blake is probably just trying to make sure he doesn't get wrecked right now, as this would be huge for him to even come home P2. I think Kennedy's got a good shot here. I mean, that 75 has done really well this race, and The 26 and 75, they are pretty good friends. So I would imagine Garrett is not going to take out Blake here to try to win this race. I would imagine that that 75, he's going to get raced pretty clean here by the 26. And that 26 does appear to be a lot faster. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. And Christian Visconti, he looks pretty quick back here at P3. He's kind of lurking just in the background right now. Jay Mulder, he's pretty quick as well. And right now, with the issues to Ramstead and Marrow, Mulder, I believe, is in right now. Yeah, Jay Mulder, I believe, is the 4th truck in the final 4. He might not be in over Granata. Actually, I believe Paul Granata might still be in. Honestly, it's a very confusing structure right now, and we just have to wait until all 100 of these laps are done. As looks like Kennedy might come up on lap traffic, and that's a playoff driver. I believe that's Ramstead up there. So Ramstead might go another lap down, as there he is on the back straightaway, and there's this train of the top 5 working their way around the track here. As look at Visconti and Mulder, they have caught themselves up really nicely to Blake Kennedy, and Visconti, he gets really good exits here. That 80 truck is quick here late in this run, as all these guys are just fighting to try to stay afloat somehow. Ramstead pulls to the inside of the racetrack here, trying to just stay out of the way, as he's just trying to make his laps and see what kind of positions he can gain, because it's not quite 100% over for him yet, but it's not looking very good right now for that 20 truck. I'll tell you that. As Kennedy throws it into 3 and 4 here. He's still leading this one, and honestly, if Kennedy can lead the rest of this race, he gets that most laps led, and that would hurt Joe Burgy even more. And also, I'm still a little confused as to what Burgy's strategy was there. I mean, fastest truck in the field, and you lay off and just back on. Man, Garrett A. White all over the rear bumper of Blake Kennedy here. That 26, he's definitely faster than Kennedy. I think he's just being patient right now, just waiting for the opportunity, waiting for Kennedy to maybe make a mistake or what. But look at that exit that White gets. He just dives down low. Kennedy's able to beat him off on the outside, but I don't think it means too much, as this top 5 is broken away, and Joe Burgy, he's way up on the top side. I think he's just trying to find some more racing. I mean, there's not much to it, as Jay Mulder, he's quick. He's trying to get by Christian Visconti here, as that 51, he needs these points as much as he can. He got wrecked last week. In fact, him and the 83, who are next to each other, they got involved in the same incident last week that has put them as far back in the points as they are, because Burgy kind of threw a block, got a little loose, got turned around, and Jay Mulder was unfortunately involved, as they were running for the lead up there at Talladega last week. And to go from Talladega to Nashville, I mean, a full throttle track where pretty much everyone has the same chance to Nashville, it's pretty impressive. And right now, I'm impressed with Blake Kennedy, the way he's able to play defense right now. He's doing a great job just holding on to Garrett A. White. I mean,
caution.
Oh, this is huge. Joe Burgy! Burgy is around on the front straightaway. Man, that 83 truck. Whew. I don't know what's gotten into these playoff guys. You'd think it's Halloween night. These guys are just so spooked, I guess. As I believe Burgy may have spun on his own. Yeah, looks like he just sent it a little too hard off corner exit, got loose. Was able to lock it down, though, and avoid damage, but that's huge for guys like Paul Granata. He gets a position out of that. That's huge for these guys battling for the lead, Kennedy and White. Do you pit? Do you take tires here? You have 2 tire changes this whole race. And it looks here like Kennedy is going to pit. White's going to pit. Looks like Visconti comes in. And I mean, Kennedy on the short run looked pretty quick, so looks like John Mulder stays out here as I'm trying to figure out who will stay out on track. As looks like, yeah, everyone's coming in here to take their tires. Clayton Ramstead and Harry Klappert stay out as they're trying to get their laps back. Klappert gets the lucky dog. Looks like John Mulder as well stays out to try to get his laps back here. And Jay Mulder. Oh my goodness, what a strategy by the 51. I don't think he took tires. I think he took fuel to make it to the end. He may have taken just 2, but that's huge for Blake Kennedy, for Garrett A. White. Kennedy's trying to win this thing to stay ahead of Granata. And oh, Brady Cox has gotten a penalty on pit road. The 76 will go to the back, and Blake Kennedy has to be cringing right now. He was leading this thing. He was one of the faster trucks. Not only is he going to lose that most laps led bonus, but I mean, he's behind Jay Mulder now, who's going to be definitely slower on the older tires, as Mulder's going to have to try to play defense here. He's got Paul Granata P5 after a pit road mistake from Cox, and I mean, Joe Burgy spun in the first place. So I mean, Chris Brown, he's the one track, he doesn't care. Paul Granata, he has to care a little bit. He has to try to hold this one behind him and hold on to this top 5. I believe that's the best chance scenario here for this 04 to make the final 4. As, man, Clayton Ramstead, I think he's honestly kind of kicked himself in the foot here. Just been a rough race for that 20 who was so strong. He was the regular season champion, and he was tied for the points lead coming into this race. That shows you, I mean, a little mistake can really knock you out of this thing. And for guys like Jay Mulder, Blake Kennedy, you got to take advantage of this. Even Garrett A. White, he's been taking really good advantage. He's been top 3 up here. And, man, Joe Burgy getting loose right there. He's going all the way to the back. And for a guy in a must-win situation, I'm still a little intrigued on that whole pit strategy scenario. I mean, I really don't know what's going to happen here. As Jay Mulder will get to call the green whenever he wants, and Blake Kennedy, man, I have no idea how he's going to take advantage. He's going to have to get a good restart. He's going to have to hope the 26 messes up, as Christian Visconti is on the outside. Oh, never mind. My bad. I looked at that wrong. For a second I got confused. ATVO was telling me that the 80 was still P3 and he was lined up on the outside. I thought I lost him for a second. And Mulder, good restart here for him. Blake Kennedy does not really get going. And into turn 1 we go. Garrett A. White trying to take advantage on the bottom. Blake Kennedy trying to go to the way top side. They're going to go 3 wide for a moment. Caution is back out. I don't know what the yellow's for. Who's the yellow on? Looks like it was Joe Burgy back here, maybe? We're going to take a look here. He looks like he got a 2X. This is coming to green. Oh, Burgy turns John Mulder. We're going to have to get one more look at this one and see from the far chase camera. Yeah, Burgy washes up the racetrack into John Mulder, and that'll be a 2 out of 3 on Burgy. Alright, well, we're going to re-rack this up, and now Blake Kennedy is falling back to P3. That's bad news for him. Paul Granata somehow got to P4. And Kennedy, man, he had this thing in the bag, and then Jay Mulder said, well, look at this strategy in here. And honestly, Mulder, he caught that caution at a good time. He's going to have to try to hold off Garrett White here, and it's going to be down to these guys. I mean, it's a single file restart, so this is going to be huge for these guys as they try to figure out how to get around here. And Christian Visconti, he's been top 3 the whole day. He's back here in 5th now because of these last couple cautions. And he's not trying to lose more positions. He's not trying to fall out of this top 5. That 80, I expect him to be a little more aggressive, and I expect him to try to be right on that back bumper, the 04. And the thing to keep in mind here is the 04, he's on probation. He cannot cause any incidents, and right now, Paul, he's kept it clean. I'll give him that props. He's definitely been a clean driver so far. And I don't know why these guys are doubling up. It's going to be single file. I don't think these guys realized it was going to be a single file restart. They kind of doubled themselves up. I'm not sure why. I mean, we had the caution right there. So 13 laps left in this one. 8 yellows, 34 laps under yellow. This one's been rough for these guys. First trip to Nashville here, and honestly, Nashville was kind of a replacement for North Wilkesboro, which we had in the Season 1 schedule. And Wilkesboro went pretty good, so we thought Nashville wouldn't be too bad, but I guess also, you know, taking into account playoff elimination race, short track, all that jazz, and well, then we have this.
Green flag.
And Jay Mulder, great start for him. Blake Kennedy doesn't quite get the best start, and Paul Granata, he sees that 75 in his rear view, excuse me. And Granata's not going to want to give up that position. He knows he has to stay right there with Blake, and he's doing a good job right now. As Christian Visconti, he's getting a challenge to the inside from Chris Brown. We'll see what happens here as the 80 almost gets turned by Chris Brown, who goes to the inside wall. He's going to ram it. Oh, ice spinner! Jay Mulder up and around. No yellow. Garrett A. White's leading. Blake Kennedy is second. Granata and Visconti going at it for third. Chase Marsden, he's moved himself up there. Timmy Spatz is into the wall in front of Mulder. Mulder's losing position fast. Chase Marsden is blinking out. They're 3 wide back here. Everyone fanning out as Spatz and Marsden go at it now. Chase Marsden making a late charge to the front, trying to just get anything done he can to make the final 4. Gino Mero driving himself back up towards the top 5. Paul Granata, he's like a late race messiah or something. He runs back in 10th all race long, and then somehow he ends up right here up in the top 5. He did this at Homestead on the verge of elimination. He was way back there the whole race, somehow ended up in the top 5, and he's done it again here today. And you know who the top 2 were at this point in that race at Homestead? The guys who are in the top 2 right now, Garrett A. White and Blake Kennedy. Absolutely crazy to think about here as Chris Brown has spun around.
The yellow flag is out.
Ooh, that'll shake this up even crazier than it already is. I'm not sure what happened with Chris Brown. Looks like he may have gotten into it with the 76 as they were tight on each other's doors. Oh, looks like they went 3 wide. Chris Brown may have gotten tagged. Fortunately, the TV camera kind of cut out, so we're going to go to far chase real quick here and see what happened, as this may have been a racing incident. We'll see what happens if the 29 comes down, or... Oh, looks like he came down a little because the 76 went to his outside. I'm not sure. I'll give it one last look here. Man, I can't really tell. I believe there was a netcode contact between those guys. Hang on, was there netcode between the 29? Oh yeah, look at that netcode. Man, yeah, because the 76, the way the 29 moved down. Oh, we're gonna go cockpit cam here of the 29. See if he moved down. I believe that there was definitely some netcode involved. Honestly, he's keeping the wheel fairly straight there off corner exit. I can't really blame that on the 29. I can't really blame that on anybody, to be honest. It just kind of looks like it's a racing deal. Netcode was definitely involved. The way Chris Brown got turned, they should have doored each other, but Chris Brown, his right rear kicked out. That was very interesting. don't think I've ever seen anybody spin like that before. And these guys will double it up again, and Paul Granata P3 somehow. I don't know how aggressive he's going to be. There's definitely some aggressive drivers behind Chase Marsden P5. He knows he has to win this race. Jay Mulder, he's probably going to be aggressive. Gino Mero, he's definitely going to be aggressive. P8, he's definitely out of it right now at the moment. And that's going to be huge for him. And Blake Kennedy, man, he's fought so hard, tooth and nail right now. Kennedy is hoping Granata gets past because Kennedy got that bonus point for leading laps. And at the moment, I believe Kennedy has a 0x as well, which is another bonus point. So Kennedy can keep his truck clean here, not get any incidents. I believe I can actually check and see how many incidents these guys have. Yeah, Blake Kennedy, he has 0x right now. He's going to get a bonus point, as is Christian Visconti. That is crucial. Kennedy right now, actually, he would be tied with Paul Granata. Taking a look at the bonus points he would receive. If Kennedy can keep his truck clean here, he ties with Granata and Kennedy. So the WORC tiebreaker rules that we go down to wins first. Wins across the whole season. These guys have the same amount of wins. Blake won iRacing Super Speedway. Paul won Daytona to open the season. So then we go down to top 10s. Blake has 8, Paul has 6. So no matter what happens in this race, even if Blake falls out of the top 10, they tie. Blake gets that tiebreaker. However, if they do tie in top 10s, then we go to best finish in the round. If they tie from there, then we go to top 5s. However, Blake Kennedy, what an awful restart by that 75. What a great restart by the 04 as... Man, Kennedy's fighting back on the outside here. Chase Marsden washes up into Visconti. Visconti backs out of it. That 80 truck is in trouble. He's got a lot of playoff drivers coming and a lot of aggressive drivers at that. The 80 truck, I would fear for my life right now if I'm him. He's going to get pinched. He's going to get doored. He's going to get hit every which way as Kennedy got back by Granata here on the white flag. Christian Visconti trying to hold on here. This could be huge. We'll see what happens with Jay Mulder. Chase Marsden's in the wall. They're wrecking in the back. Back up front. Garrett A. White is going to win this race. Blake Kennedy P2. Paul Granata 3rd. Marsden 4th. Looks like Visconti is going to get turned at the line by Mulder for a top 5. Chris Brown 7th, Mero 8th. Oh my goodness. No, Gino Mero. Joe Burgy, lots of chaos there. As no holds barred kind of ensued there at the end. And our race winner tonight, Garrett A. White. Man, him and Paul Granata, they're teammates now at Nova Sim Racing. And Garrett A. White gets his first win of the season. There's some issues there. Christian lost that bonus point. Blake may have tied with Paul here in the points. This is all too crazy. We will try to get these results as soon as possible available to you guys. Man, Garrett A. White, he's going to burn it down here at Nashville. He was quick there at the end. Man, congratulations to Garrett A. White here on the race win tonight. Here from the Nashville Fairgrounds. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will be back with post-race interviews following this commercial break.
The field is rolling on the back straightaway.
Get ready. This is going to be tight. Out of turn 4, ladies and gentlemen. The All-American 400 is underway.
Gotta be careful. The bumps here can get you every time. Entering the corner, exiting the corner.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here for post-race interviews. We have official playoff results. Your final 4 drivers: Christian Visconti, Paul Granata, Blake Kennedy, and Gino Mero. Garrett A. White, unfortunately, was out by just 3 points as he tried to point his way in. Man. All right, we're going to try to bring in Garrett for his interview. At least he was able to get a win. Solid run by him. Garrett, welcome to the WORC TV booth. I have some unfortunate news for you, bud, before I start this off. You unfortunately were still just a few points short of making the playoffs because of all that last lap chaos. Gino Mero was able to gain a few positions on you. So unfortunately, despite the win, you're spot number 5 heading into Las Vegas. However, you still won the race tonight, and there's still a lot of positives to be looked on here. I guess first things first, there's a little bit of contact with Jay Mulder that I sort of missed, and you were able to get the lead from there and hold on to it, man. Tell me what happened there with that contact. Was it go time in your head? What went through your head right there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to get the win, but didn't make it. But you gotta hold your head up high. But for that contact, I had to go, dude. He was on 2 tires, and maybe I gave him too big of a push, but I had to go to try to get as many points as I can. And obviously, we didn't get it anyways. But it's great to get a win, and in the season on a high.
Yeah, for sure. Well, heading into Las Vegas next week, you're not fighting for a playoff. You're not fighting for the championship anymore, so you can just kind of go in there, and send it in there for a win. Is that going to be your strategy, or are you just going to go for the win next week, kind of no holds barred?
Absolutely, we want to go 2 for 2 at the end of the season off and try to hit next season on a high note.
All right, man. Well, before I let you go, Garrett, do you have anybody you want to thank tonight?
I want to thank Joe Burgy for bringing out the caution that ultimately gave me the lead of the race and won it. So thanks, Joe Burgy.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on the win tonight, Garrett. Unfortunately, you had a very good season, though. I mean, you're still top 5 in points, and you can still finish top 5 in points as well. So nothing to look back on, nothing bad at all. You had to overcome some struggles from damage at Talladega to even get this far in the first place. I mean, you've definitely accomplished some good feats. So congratulations on the win, Garrett. We'll see you around.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, guys, that was Garrett A. White. Unfortunately, despite the win, doesn't make it into the next round, but a great run by him and a great run by this guy tonight as well. Blake, you're in the WORC TV booth. Do you have a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I do.
Congratulations, Blake. You've officially made the Final 4 with this P2 tonight. A phenomenal race by you. A 0x, which got you a bonus point and leading some laps, tied you in the points with Paul Granata, and you win that tiebreaker, so you actually ended up P2 heading into the Final 4, man. A great race for you. You were never outside of the top 2 until just towards the end there, and still, I don't even know if you were ever out of the top 3 at all. A great race by you, Blake. What kind of execution do you think made it happen tonight?
My good qualifying. I mean, I qualified really well. I'm kind of a little disappointed I didn't get the pole, but Joe definitely had the fastest truck there until he made his mistake, and the track position really paid off there. That's why I was able to stay out front, and I led all those laps because Garrett couldn't get by me there. And then that one yellow where Jay took 2 because as a last-ditch effort for him, Garrett got by me. Garrett was definitely way faster than me, so I'm not surprised that he won the race, but, you know, it was a good point stay. That's what I needed, and I'm in the Final 4 because of it.
Well, yeah, so heading into next week, Blake, you're fighting for a championship. The past few weeks, let's go back a little bit. You won at iRacing Super Speedway towards the end of the regular season. A huge win for you. Gives you some playoff points. Gave you a little bit of momentum. And then you come into the playoffs. You blew up at Lime Rock. You were facing elimination. All of a sudden at Homestead late in that race, you're fighting for the win. I believe you got P2 there at Homestead. And then you come into Talladega last week. You're leading almost towards the end of the race. You almost win Talladega. You're just 3 points out of the Final 4. You come here. You lead laps. You run top 2 the entire race pretty much. I mean, you never fell out of the top 3. You have absolutely put yourself on a momentous roll here. And heading into next week, you're fighting for a championship. Do you think you have what it takes to take it all at Las Vegas?
We'll see. Vegas, I think I'll do pretty well at because how I did well at Homestead, they're both progressively banked 1.5 mile tracks. So I got to get some laps in and see how well I can do.
All right, man. Well, before I let you go, Blake, obviously, congratulations on making the Final Four. You and your teammate Christian Visconti will be fighting for a championship together. So, congratulations to you guys at the Outlaw Racing Camp. And like I said before I let you go, do you have anybody you want to thank tonight?
I want to thank Garrett and Paul for racing me clean. I know me and Paul made a little bit of contact there, but that was just me being a little bit too aggressive and spun into him almost. But, you know, the cleanness helped me out make this Final Four. So I want to thank them the most out of anybody out there.
All right, man. Well, congratulations. Once again, dude. Great run by you. 34 laps led. You really showed yourself as a solid championship contender tonight. And next week, you get to put it all on the line and prove it. Congratulations, Blake. And we'll see you around, man.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That was Blake Kennedy, P2. And now we're going to bring him in. I mentioned it. Somehow, he makes it happen and gets himself up in the top 5 at the end of these races. Paul Granata. We're going to bring him in for an interview. Paul, welcome to the WORC broadcast booth. You have a copy?
I do.
Well, Paul, congratulations. I want you to hear it from me. You are a Final Four contender, and I've got to ask you, man, the past 2 rounds, it has looked like you were out of it. At Homestead, you were running back about 10th, 13th most of the race. You were out of the points, and then all of a sudden, late race caution, you drive yourself up into P4, make the next round. You come into this race at Nashville, you're running about 10th to 13th again. You know, you're running kind of back there. You're out of the playoffs. You're out of the Final Four. All of a sudden, into this race, you're putting yourself up in P3. How do you manage to do this, man? Like, I mean, do you just think you have some late race luck or what?
Well, I qualified pretty bad. I didn't want to do that at all, but I honestly thought my championship hopes, battling hopes were actually over when I spun out in that earlier accident, thanks to Brady. But we survived it, and then got the cautions we needed, and I was like 20 to go. Great cautions, put the 4 fresh tires on it, and just drove to the front.
Well, on top of that note, man, you ultimately ended up the 3rd highest playoff driver in this race. So honestly, you may not have even needed to finish P3 to make it into the Final Four because of some struggles from guys like Gino Merrill and Clayton Ramstead. Those guys, Gino Merrill and Clayton Ramstead, were leading coming into this race. All of a sudden, Clayton Ramstead, he's out of the playoffs, and Gino Merrill barely squeaks himself into the Final Four. I mean, to put the emphasis on heading into next week, you're going to Las Vegas with championship on your mind. And I know you have 2 friends out there as competitors. I know you're not teammates, but you guys are friends, Blake and Christian. I mean, you've got those guys to worry about, and then you got to look at Gino Mero too. He's teammates with the defending champion, and that Fry Designs crew, I mean, they're probably going to be looking to try to help their guy win a championship. So going into next week, all of the focus, what are you putting your focus on?
I'm definitely gonna talk to Christian and Blake throughout the week, see if we can work together here. I definitely think we are gonna have to focus on Gino as, like you said, his teammate won the championship last year. So hoping it goes a little bit better than it did last year. We don't have a big one that takes a bunch of us out, but I'm hoping we can beat it at the end and all 4 of us battle it out for the championship.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on making the Final Four, Paul. Really squeaking your way in there. I'm glad to see you make it, man. And before I let you go, do you have anybody you want to thank tonight?
I want to thank you for everything you do for the league and everything. I also want to give a big shout out to Garrett there for taking home the win, his first Nova race at Nova Sim racing under the at WORC. So that's pretty cool to see him bring it home. Blake Christian racing me clean at the end. I felt bad I got to Christian down the backstretch, but he seemed to round out, I think, top 5 anyways. But yeah, I think it's time to focus on next week and go see what we can do at Vegas.
All right, man. Well, congratulations, Paul, on making the Final Four. And the truck that is sponsored by the series sponsor makes the Final Four. That almost kind of reminds me, you're going into Las Vegas next week, and that happens to be a track where there's a little bit of a thing going with the Pennzoil car winning there all the time in the Pennzoil sponsored race. So maybe that'll be some luck for you. The series sponsored truck wins the series championship. Who knows? But congratulations, Paul, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's Paul Granata. He takes home P3 and puts himself in the Final Four. Great drive from those guys. Everyone put it on the line there, and we saw it throughout the race. A little too chaotic of a race, in my opinion. A lot of wrecks and such. But hopefully there's some interesting rivalries brewing between guys like Jay Mulder and Joe Burgy right now, from what I'm hearing. So it's not over yet as we head into Las Vegas next Thursday night at the same time. 100 laps. As I mentioned, your Final Four: Christian Visconti, Blake Kennedy, Paul Granata, Gino Mero. Congratulations to those guys as they'll be competing for a championship next week. And like I said, it's going to be all on the line. Everyone fighting tooth and nail for a championship at one of America's biggest, most prestigious 1.5 mile tracks. And man, I honestly think it's going to be a super exciting one. So make sure you tune in next Thursday night for the championship race here in the JV Designs Truck Series. And make sure you tune in this Sunday night as the Keystone Corner GT3 Challenge Championship race is at Long Beach, as Brian's in. He's the points leader there. He looks to hold off Henry Klappert and Sky McGurk to claim that championship. And Saturday night, the Unified iRacing League Truck Series, we'll be back here broadcasting that as well. That will be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully we see you guys around here on WORC TV. We thank everyone for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you guys around.